By the time that the Roman Empire was founded from the failed republic in 31 BC, it had grown drastically from its beginnings around 600 years earlier. This happened through a series of conquests in which the Romans continued to gain more land, led by important military leaders. Great military campaigns that resulted in an expansion of the Roman territory include the Punic Wars, the Gallic conquests, the Battle of Actium against Mark Antony, and the conquering of Judea.
The Punic Wars were a series of 3 wars between Rome and Carthage that resulted in the final destruction of Carthage, or Carthago in Latin, between 264 to 146 BC. Over that time period, Carthage grew from a small fishing settlement to the richest and most powerful city on the Mediterranean. The First Punic War began over control of Sicily in 264 BC. At first, the victory appeared to be Carthage's, for it was mostly a naval war, but Rome eventually became experienced enough to win the war through a series of decisive battles in 241 BC. During this war, the Romans invented the corvus, or a movable gangplank that they frequently used for boarding ships. The Second Punic War, from 218 to 202 BC, began because Hannibal, the Carthaginian general, who was the son of the Carthaginian general in the First Punic War, laid siege to Saguntum, a Roman allied town. Hannibal closed in on Rome throughout the war, but the general Publius Cornelius Scipio, knowing that Hannibal would be recalled to Carthage if it were attacked, set sail for Carthage, forcing Hannibal to retreat. Scipio then defeated Hannibal, and Rome won once again, forcing Carthage to resign their army and pay a war debt of 200 talents a year. Back in Rome, politicians began to end their speeches with Carthago delende est, or Carthage must be destroyed, truly representing the public opinion. The Third Punic War, from 149 to 146 BC, was the destruction of Carthage, in which the Roman Senate, considering Carthage a threat to the peace, sent Roman general Scipio Aemilius overseas, where he besieged the city of Carthage for 3 years until it fell, and then burned the city to the ground. Through an arduous struggle, Rome had conquered what is now just a small part of Tunisia.
Julius Caesar's conquest of Gaul, or Gallia in Roman times, or modern-day France, initially began in 58 BC, with Caesar's intent being to attack Romania, not Gaul. Reports reached him of the Germans, or people from the area known then as Germania, attacking the Aedui, a Gallic tribe allied with Rome, so he decided to attack the Germans. After numerous victories over the Germans, he continued his conquest and won numerous victories over the Belgians. He had impressed the Senate and the Roman people with these successive conquests, so he decided to begin a short campaign in Britain, thought of by most people at the time as the mythological edge of the earth. Being able to cross this seemingly impenetrable barrier only raised his public opinion even higher and granted him further legitimacy back at home. He had gained large amounts of land through these conquests, expanding the empire even further. Julius Caesar's successor, Gaius Octavianus Caesar, further expanded the empire in conquests as grand as those of his adopted father. Upon his death in 51 BC, Ptolemy Auletes of Egypt granted the care of his children, including Cleopatra VII, to Pompey in Rome. Tensions continued to grow between Mark Antony and Octavian, culminating in the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. When Augustus defeated Mark Antony in this naval battle, Cleopatra was removed from power and Egypt was annexed to the Roman Empire, being called Aegyptus. Augustus blocked the Roman Senate's influence on Aegyptus by appointing a prefect, or praefectus, to rule there. This prefect was a member of the equestrian class, or eques. The first prefect, Gaius Cornelius Gallus, fully controlled Egypt militarily. Over the period of Roman rule, the Egyptian economy was also privatized and lower-class citizens taxed highly. Mark the Evangelist introduced Christianity to Egypt in 33 AD, and the people accepted it fairly well due to similarities between it and the ancient religion of Egypt. So overall, the Roman control of Egypt was both a conquest of power and an invasion of culture.
Pompey was the first Roman leader to understand the key to controlling the Middle East was through Judea, a kingdom located between the northern empire of Syria and the southern empire of Egypt. The inhabitants of Judea, Ludius or Jew, were referred to as porcupines, deriving from porcus and spina, which means pig spine, and had a fearsome reputation. Their fierce reputation deterred the Romans from going to war with them. However, during Pompey's campaign in the east, he was asked to intervene in the ongoing civil war in Judea. Hence, the Romans appeared in Damascus in 64 BC. Seeing the opportunity to control Judea, Pompey ordered the Romans to fight their way into the Temple Mount, killing 12,000 in doing so. After the temple's fall, Pompey didn't take any booty or interrupt the services at Temple Mount, instead withdrawing his troops from the temple. However, the Romans essentially controlled Judea from that point forward.